about it. And, I mentioned public funding, but at the end of the day, the bulk of our funding is philanthropic. And so I would encourage your listeners to look at an organization like Father Joe's Villages, who is effective in what it's doing, that helps those not only who are on the streets, but the community at large.
Cloudcast 180. Powerful people, powerful stories, 180 seconds.
The San Diego Union Tribune and Retirement Strategies Group present the Union Tribune Community Spotlight Show with your host, Drew Schlossberg.
I'm Drew Schlossberg of the San Diego Union Tribune, and we are back with the San Diego Foundation and Danielle Valenciano. She is the Director of Community Scholarships, joined by her colleague, Michelle Jaramillo, Director of Educational Initiatives, talking about the tremendous impact. They'll be giving out 1,000 scholarships totaling about $3 million, not even counting what Michelle is working on her side as well. So critical, as we all know. Every dollar counts. And as you were mentioning and alluding to, Danielle, that getting people into the workforce and into college to get to the workforce is paramount. And breaking down those barriers are just absolutely wonderful. And, we mentioned about AVID and talking about that great program founded by Mary Catherine Swanson in 1980 in Claremont High School. And what they've done, of course, probably the country's most preeminent, college preparation, program and all that. And I know you work with all the districts and all that business. But talk a little bit about, how you work closely with Michelle, and there's some studies you work with and all that. Talk about that.
Yeah, so the scholarship program has been around since '97. We've given away over $33 million in that time. Right. Our donors, we could not do it without our donors. Right. The donors have some leverage on the type of criteria that they want to offer scholarships for, and over time, most of the money is going towards the groups that we want it to go to. First generation, low income, primarily Latino. We know our population well here. We decided a few years ago to create this new discretionary fund that we have control over, and we're creating the criteria for, because it's need-based. And probably, maybe even more importantly, we're working on not just scholarships, but college readiness for the specific population Michelle can talk more about.
Yeah.
Readiness is so important, and it's really something that is elevated in the design of this particular scholarship. We know how important scholarship dollars are for students. Obviously, tuition has risen something like 1,300% over the past few decades. So the scholarship dollar is all important. But as important, and sometimes even more important, is the readiness piece. It's the supports that students are getting around financial advising, around preparing their personal statements and their applications, filling out the FAFSA form, which is a form that helps capture funding for their schooling, and then getting ready for the campus experience, personal finance, mentoring, how you access and navigate the college going experience, which is difficult for any student. In particular, it's challenging for students who are first gen.
Right. These
are first generation students. These are students that are coming from households where parents are working hard and didn't have an opportunity to go to college themselves, and don't have an opportunity to guide their young one on the college experience. So first generation students are a big focus of Community Scholars Initiative. The initiative itself provides for, like we said, those scholarship dollars for students, along with grants to nonprofit partners. These are the partners that are working with these students, helping them prepare, mentoring them, encouraging them, connecting them to resources, and before day one on campus, and then also following up with them throughout their college-going experience to make sure they feel supported, they have somebody to turn to. And so that's what Community Scholars Initiative is really doing and providing for.
Yeah, do you work with Just in Time for Foster Youth? So Just in Time, run by Don Wells, yes. And Don is a frequent guest on the show here, former news director for Channel 10, and of course, as Danielle is nodding her head over here, and we all know once you are sort of termed out, if that's the right word, of the foster system, when you're 18 years old or whatever, they pick up the pieces from there.
We have a number of scholarships specifically for foster youth.
Right.
And this is, again, part of the population
right.
that we are trying to serve with the Community Scholars Initiative.
Right.
Students, I mean, imagine a child who has been through 6 different homes.
That's right.
6 different families. You're getting used to 6 different lifestyles. Maybe they treat you well, maybe they don't. You have a drive, you're talented, you're trying to do well in school, and there's all these obstacles in your way. What do, right? Just in time, other organizations are there to help them. This college readiness piece, life readiness, it's more than just college readiness, right? It's about becoming a productive, healthy adult, working adult.
Well, and also what you folks are doing, you guys know this better than when I'm preaching to the congregation, and Don and I talk about this all the time as well, and especially working with other groups like Promises to Kids and going down the Home Start and so forth. You're giving them that confidence. Many of these kids, we'll use Just in Time as an example, don't trust adults. They don't trust adults because we've earned that, because they've gone through 7 different homes of people letting them down and all that business. One of the things that is great about Just in Time and other wonderful groups that do it, they've built that trust back up. And, of course, once you've had trust broken, it takes you a while to sit there and get that back. But you're offering these scholarships. We're here with you shoulder to shoulder. We're going to show you how to navigate the college experience because we all know that can be intimidating, whether you come from a family that's gone to college or not, because it is a foreign animal, and colleges can be intimidating, just like K-12 schools can be, and so forth. So good for you on that aspect. We are chatting with Danielle Valenciano. She is the Director of Community Scholarships for the San Diego Foundation, joined by Michelle Jaramillo, Director of Educational Initiatives. Were you a teacher, Michelle?
No.
How'd you get into education?
But that's a bit of a long story, but
we got 3 hours.
Yeah. All right, settle in. I was had the opportunity in my past with the San Diego Foundation to work with Danielle on the early design of the Community Scholars Initiative.
Nice.
Yeah, and the Community Scholars Initiative is in part a result of the San Diego Foundation being invited and participating in a statewide coalition of community foundations that were working on increasing their knowledge and their skills and their leadership around strategic and needs-based scholarships. And so that's what we've been talking about. Scholarships that provide for financial support, but that are also designed based on figuring out what the regional needs are, where we can have the greatest impact, and pair those important grants to community partners like all of the partners that we've mentioned.
Right.
We've also partnered really closely in the pilot of Community Scholars Initiative with Reality Changers.
Sure.
We work with MANA, the San Diego, Barrio Logan College Institute, of course, AVID, and the groups that we've mentioned, all of these amazing nonprofit organizations that every day are building these really strong and supportive relationships with students and guiding them.
Yeah, and that's the premise of our show. We've interviewed every one of those people you've talked about numerous times, and because we want to give them a voice like you guys do. And one of the things that sort of frustrates us a little bit, and probably you as well, is that, boy, I wish I would have heard about fill in the blank Just in Time, 3 years ago, or MANA, or whatever. We hear this a lot, because obviously, you're just bombarded with messages.
Yeah.
But you can't say it enough. You can't talk about what you guys are doing enough in this area. And, what's so cool about, what you guys are doing, Michelle and Danielle, is that you're data-driven. And, listen, everyone has some great intent, not this business, and I think this should go here. Well, that's nice you feel that way, but is there evidence that lets you know that that's the best use for the money and all that? And you folks spend time doing that, which I think is so critical, which extends that dollar, does it not?
We spend a lot of time working on that. I would say the past 3 years with this initiative has really, really helped to transform not just this discretionary fund,
right,
but our work with our donors.
Right.
We are able to show our expertise
right,
to our donor base. The donors who are giving are so generous, and I think they get it. They understand
right,
that they're trying to help elevate groups that have been, that have had a hard time, based on institutional racism, based on all kinds of things. So
they've been ignored basically.
Yes,
but
this is we're proactively trying to reverse that through what we're doing. And so I think this ability, the data, the knowledge that we have that we're able to share with our donors has helped to transform the way they think about giving.
No, I think it is too. So people have been listening to the show here. They go, I want to hang with these two cool cats. Okay, how do they get a hold of you? What's the best way? They want to become a donor. Yeah. What do they do?
The easiest way is all of our information's on our website at stfoundation.org.
Okay.
Mine and hers, our emails are on there, our phone number's on there. They can call us, they can email us, they can do a bat signal, however they wish to get a hold of us, they can.
And I will tell you this, when we say this all the time, in the last 12 years we've been doing this show, there is no such thing as too small of a donation. And there's no such thing as too small of a time of volunteering your time. Just get engaged. Somehow get engaged, and we'll take it from there.
We actually do have volunteers. We have about 40 volunteers who help us with selection committees.
Right, exactly.
They can give to the Community Scholars Initiative at any amount.
Perfect. Well, shout out the website one more time.
stfoundation.org.
That was very fast and very good. Danielle and Michelle, what a pleasure. Next time, let's bring in some recipients. How's that sound?
We can do that.
And we'll make sure that happens, all right?
That sounds great. Thank you so much.
Say hi to our friends at the Foundation for Orange when you have a chance. I'm Drew Schlossberg. This is another edition of the Community Spotlight Show here on Cloudcast Media Radio. We're brought to you by Retirement Strategies Group.
Thank you for listening to a podcast from Cloudcast Media, the digital media home for leading local brands. When it comes to amplifying your brand, a Cloudcast-sponsored show offers unbeatable value. Learn more at cloudcast.us.
Cloudcast 180. Powerful people, powerful stories, 180 seconds.
Welcome to Cloudcast 180, the 3-minute lightning round with changemakers here in San Diego. We're here with Ed Heiner, 20-year Navy SEAL, best-selling author, and education entrepreneur. Ed, welcome to the Cloudcast 180.
Thanks for having me.
Your book was called First Fast Fearless, so let's hit this fast and fearlessly. Real quick, you created a program to help change lives of high school students around the country. It's called Sealpreneurship. Tell our audience what it's all about.
Well, it's about leading yourself. Getting a PhD in me, I teach kids how to take care of themselves and lead themselves first, and how to be their own entrepreneur, intrapreneur, if you will.
Is it something you think public education is lacking, this concept of self-leadership?
Absolutely. It's a mindset that kids don't get. My son doesn't get in his school. The kids don't get it. It's something that, we're educating them, but to be mentally tough and be able to take charge of themselves and accountable for themselves is very unique.
Okay. I've seen an overview of your curriculum, 23 evolutions, and you have a 23-minute podcast series. So what's up with 23?
Chromosomes, right? It's all in all of us. We're all the same. 99.9% of everybody in this world is the same. And we use those chromosomes, 23 pairs, which was one of the concepts we teach as swim buddies, never be alone. Mm-hmm. Always work with someone else, collaborate, and be out there.
Well, that's a lesson for life for sure. Ed, you were in charge of basic and advanced training for the U.S. Navy SEALs, and I mentioned you're a 20-year SEAL. Tell our audience the greatest lesson from the SEALs that have changed you forever.
Probably in the back of a helicopter one night in Iraq before I was getting ready to fly into an Al-Qaeda target, it dawned on me that when a pilot said, you have this many souls on board, it dawned on me that the opposite of fear is love. It's not else. I don't fight for what I hate in front of me. I fight for what's beside me, behind me, that I love.
Wow, it's a powerful concept. Wow. You've talked a lot about the blue-collar scholar as a concept. Fascinating. Tell our audience, what is the blue-collar scholar as it relates to your Sealpreneurship program?
It's a mental concept where people take control. Don't outsource their life. Look, we're going to have people that are in white coats, suits and ties, doctors, PhDs. That's fine. Listen to that and learn your information from them. But eventually, you got to be that mechanic in your own life. You got to turn the wrench. This is happening. So basically, take control of your own life. Use what you can use from other people. Discard it, what you can't, and make that your own. Leadership is something that you do. It's you do with people, not to them. And one of the best forms of leadership I learned in the back of that helicopter is called MOM.
Ed,
Focus on mission, others, and me.
Mission, others, me. Ed, thank you for being here. This has been the Cloudcast 180. We hit it fast and fearlessly. We're out.
Cloudcast 180. Powerful people, powerful stories, 180 seconds.